and actually lower tax receipts, which makes government then fall apart and then become more predatory. I mean, it is a hellish plan. Max, how does war fit into this? Because clearly they want to launch the next big implosion during a war because they think people will rally around them. Then they can have their buddies, Al-Qaeda, stage an attack or take the blame for an attack and then really come after the people of Europe and the United States' freedoms. They got the military ready for martial law. That's now admitted. Secretary of the Army says they want to put troops in every city. It's starting. I mean, this is a takeover. We are being captured by the bankers who brag about it. So how will they try to complete this takeover, and is there any way to stop them?
Well, war has always been a handy profit-making enterprise for entrenched kleptocrats. What's interesting is that the U.S. is not waging war abroad. They're waging war domestically against itself. So this is tyranny. So this is the definition of tyranny. When the government wages war against itself, that's tyrannical. And this is what the U.S. government is doing. By stripping away all of these civil rights after 9/11, they opened the floodgate to the worst elements of government who are now in charge and attacking itself. And this is tyrannical. And they're doing so without any conscious adherence to any known democratic principle, constitutional principle, or economic principle. It's economic suicide, it's constitutional suicide. And so the war is, as you say, I guess sometimes the 360 full spectrum, the war is both America fighting itself in a war against itself as an attempt to snuff out its own democratic institutions, as well as fighting wars abroad, fighting wars all over the world. So clearly that's unsustainable ideologically and economically.
Max, do me a favor, tip your camera down for people watching at prisonplanet.tv. Thank you, sir, because we want to get a good look at you there so we can put your bio and name under you there, maxkeiser.com. Max, well, I mean, it's the bankers using the U.S. as their giant attack goblin, but debilitating us at the same time. What is their out strategy? I mean, I see all these big billionaires that made their money off fraud, off manipulating markets and government contracts. They're all buying armored keeps in different, rural areas of the world with private security details. I mean, why would they want to do something like this? I mean, you've described it. You call it suicide bankers, right? I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, it's not like the bankers are hurting at the moment. They're making record profits. And if you look at the prices of things that the bankers are buying, the prices are going up. I just saw a listing in New York City for a 3 or 4 floor apartment that is selling for $100 million. That is one apartment on sale for $100 million. And if you go to cities around the world, London in particular, New York, Paris, Moscow, you find that unbelievable wealth is putting money into apartments. They're putting money into art. The art market, the high end of the art market is continuing to see higher and higher bids, precious metals, precious jewels. So they're getting fabulously rich. What I see here is a conflict between a modernity and medievalism. And what I mean by that is that in order to keep the population in line, the government is returned to a pre-enlightened medieval society where knowledge is kept hidden or monopolized by a few. And I saw something today, Alex, which is a perfect example of this. There's a new hedge fund launching on Wall Street that is going to be based entirely on superstition. So the hedge fund, it has algorithms and bots that go into the market and make trades, avoiding like number 13, avoiding the mention of black cat, and they amass all of the superstitions from around the world, and then they have algorithms that try to trade around those superstitions. So what the elite are doing, they're trying to capitalize on this return to a superstitious belief system in society that has completely walked away from the age of enlightenment.
Well, that's right. Let me stop you right there. That is absolutely key. They've even admitted in documentaries about MTV, they are trying to dumb it down. That's why you watch things now, and it's something that a mentally retarded child would like. And this is done by design. It's so horrible.
I lived in a flat in Paris 2 years ago, which is where Denis Diderot lived when he was here living in Paris during the Enlightenment. And he's famous for creating the first encyclopedia. And of course, part of the Enlightenment was to take the knowledge from the church and put it into the hands of the people. Now we have the reverse. We have the knowledge of how to trade derivatives with a hedge fund that's got an algorithm searching for superstitions. That information is held behind a very high gate that is completely inaccessible by the masses, while it scoops up billions and billions of dollars from these markets in a way that's completely against any known economic principle other than medieval feudalism. And this is why these guys continue to get rich. The peasant class, which is us, which is you, which is me, who are being abused by this new monarchy and aristocracy, are being deprived of our access to meaningful information. We have, through the internet, access to an incredible array of information, but we do not have access to the algorithms that you can let loose into the stock market to automatically create arbitrage situations or high-frequency trading that is, in effect, just taking or stealing money out of the market. The Goldman Sachs high-frequency trading bot steals $100 million every single day. They have a computer that's parked right next to the New York Stock Exchange. They call it co-location. It's there to front-run trades and to siphon off money. If I put a tube in your neighbor's car and I siphon gas from your neighbor's car, that's stealing. And yet Goldman Sachs says they siphon cash from the New York Stock Exchange, and their defense is that they're making a market or they're adding liquidity. That's complete rubbish. It's just pure theft.
Now, Max, again, it's been ruled this is illegal, but they have the regulators in every position. Now I want to move quickly before we take some calls here. Monsanto, as you know, has a bill introduced as a rider, looks like it may pass, to allow them to just get everything approved without approval, even of their own scientists and lawyers they've put in at the FDA, and to give them liability protection where they can do anything they want. I mean, now it's reaching, literal godlike behavior by these people. Separately, we've got them talking about QE3. Let's get into the bankers wanting to sell carbon credits. I saw this a few months ago. They're about to get global diplomatic immunity when they sell carbon credits. I mean, they are making themselves, under this global government, absolutely exempt from their laws, but then they put laws on us saying we have absolutely no rights and are slaves. I mean, it's got to come to a head, and their answer is militarize the police and have a bunch of drones attack us.
Well, let's talk about the Monsanto issue first. The Monsanto is a particularly heinous corporation in that they sell these Terminator seeds. These are seeds that don't reproduce, so they have to be purchased every single year. So you're basically putting a boot on the throat of God and saying, you can't, these seeds don't reproduce. Only Monsanto can reproduce. Furthermore, they sell fertilizer that only works with those seeds. Again, the costs are astronomical. That's why something like 2,000 Indians in India are committing suicide. I think it's on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. Could even be on a daily basis. It's a cost.
Yeah, they drink the Monsanto poison to off themselves. Yes.
Right. So now this is happening, and of course, if these seeds are, and this is happening in Canada, and now it's happening in the United States, the seeds are blown by the wind in somebody else's farm, and then they sprout unknown to that farmer. But Monsanto lawyers show up and say, we're going to sue you or arrest you for patent theft. The farmer had no idea that the wind blew these seeds into their farm, and yet they have the temerity to say, you are committing patent theft. And so they take these people to court. And then, of course, they can't have the wherewithal or the money to go against Monsanto. And Monsanto just keeps winning these lawsuits. And it's similar to, we saw something in Bolivia where the people did not have access to rainwater. Then they sued Bechtel, the corporation that was imposing this, and they won. So where did Bechtel and these other people come? They come to America, right there in Texas. You don't have access to your own rainwater.
That's right. Bechtel comes in, buys up reservoirs that are paid for by the citizens, doubles, triples the prices, and they call that privatization. No, it's called robbery, and now they're securitizing and leveraging the water and to drive the price up. And now that's why they're announcing all over the U.S., you're not allowed to have rainwater on your own yard now. You're going to pay a tax for that, and they're going around arresting people with rainwater collection tanks.
Right. Now, on the carbon, first of all, when you look at these things in total, you come to the conclusion that all of this lawyering around the world with the banking institutions around the world, this is really a global group of people. I mean, this idea that you have of a new world order, which 5 years ago, a lot of people were not willing to see how the United States could be gobbled up or subsumed by a global clique of lawyers and bankers. It seemed far-fetched. And yet here you have corporations like Monsanto, which are attacking Americans with the help of a global clique of lawyers and bankers. That is a new world order, if you want to put it in those terms. That's exactly what that is. And we have no way to redress. Who do you go after exactly? Because this is now a global court and a global bank that answers only to itself. That completely supersedes the Constitution. It's just like in Greece. When Greece started to get into trouble, the government signed what was called a memorandum, which gave the Troika, which is the IMF, EU, and ECB, power over the country's constitution. So therefore, at that moment, and in that memorandum, the country of Greece also signed away the rights to all of their country's assets. And this is all that's going on there. These outside forces are bankrupting Greece to take the income-producing assets, the roads, the tolls, the lottery, and they're doing so for virtually no money because they are killing the country.
And then they install whoever they want and brag that the bankers are installing the leaders in Italy and Greece and Ireland and everywhere. I mean, it's incredible. So is the sky the limit? I mean, they're just God because they're fraudulent crooks. And by the way, they're eugenicists. That's what the bankers are into, is killing us. I guess after they've stolen everything, they plan to kill us with a bioweapon release. These are really nice people.
Well, here's what I would ask you. Here's my answer, Alex. You say, how far can it go? How far will these global banking crooks go? I would ask you this question. How low can we go? How low, how much pain are we going to take before something snaps? That's the question. Because they're never going to stop. They're programmed to take all the money, just like cancer is programmed to take it all. So that's not the question. We know the answer. What they intend to do, they intend to create a global peasantry. And they are the aristocrats. They want to go back to the 16th century, the 15th century, the 14th century. So that's not the question. The question is not how high will they go? How low are we going to go? How far down are we willing to go? That's the question. And I don't know the answer to that because I don't see any evidence right now that people have decided that enough is enough.
Well, I'll tell you why, Max. I'll tell you why, Max. You've got a high IQ. You know, people out there that have been successful, type A personalities, don't want to be pushed around. The average person, even if they're somewhat smart, is passive and thinks everybody's like them, so they're just trying to be helpful and friendly. And because the globalists wear suits and ties, they must be nice men, just like why women got in the car with Ted Bundy. And so you have to understand, a lot of people are physically in a trance. They